Hello everyone, we're excited to get underway with some more IEN action. It is going to be a treat and a half. It is going to be, hopefully, a lot of fun as we're headed into week number 2. Here with the Scholastic side of esports, I could not be happier. My name is Orbital. With me will be Edu, hopefully in the near future, as we're trying to get him in the call very shortly and get things moving. But until then, I do want to give a big shout out. You saw a little bit earlier as we do have two teams facing off here, and hopefully it's going to be a really good time. We got Gibson Southern going up against Maconaquah Varsity. Hopefully I said that correctly. Both of which are 1-0 in their current series. Now, with that thought in mind, it's a very big treat because one of the things is that, to me at least, we are taking a look at things and saying, okay, 1-0 start. How good are these teams? When you see a 1-0 start, to me, that means that you're either off on the right foot, you got a decent opponent, or things are hopefully going very well for you and you can continue. But once you start with a win, you want to continue that win. If you can continue the win, then you go ahead and get even more dubs. On the week, though, we do have all 5 maps prepped. It is going to be Lijiang Tower to start. Then we go to Junkertown, then New Junk City, and then if need be, we go to Esperanza as well as Kings Row. Now the order of the map rotations, as usual, is Control, Escort, Flashpoint, and then a push in Hybrid if so needed. We got the five players on either side here in the lobby with us, as you can go ahead and take a look at them. We got Neil, we got Axie, we got Kizia, as well as Red, and then so many more. We got Void Mage, we got Deegan as well. These are the teams that'll be rounding it out here along with their coach, Ryan Osborne. Big shout out to their coach. This is the Gibson Southern squad. On the other side, of course, we got the ever so lovely Maconaquah. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly once again. I'm going to say that about 13 different ways to sideways. Varsity coming in here. The captain as Dragon. Then we got Jaden, Slyfox, Crust, as well as Bedhead. They got a couple coaches here, James, Brent, and Jeremy. Big shout out to the coaching staff. Hopefully bringing a victory to the entire roster. Once again, though, going into Lijiang Tower, it's pretty simple. It is a map that just about everyone understands and knows. No one really has, I would say, any major issues with it. It's what I would consider extremely stable in terms of opening. It is a map that every single side feels very mirrored. There isn't really any difference between getting out and getting in to the map itself. There are no real changes. And, you know, maybe you get a little bit of inside-outside action in terms of how you respond to a lot of these battles, but it will be up to the teams themselves to figure out exactly where they want to go and how they want to approach these battles. With that being said, we are headed out onto the battlefield for the first time here today in the Division AA regular season week number 2. We're already getting a little bit of spice here. I like this call down. You can see Cam over there on Gibson's side rocking out with a little bit of that extra tankiness in the front side. But then we got a Reaper as well as a Kiriko, and then a Lucio and a little bit of Sojo in action. Love the on-hit skin, but on the flip, it's a little bit different. For Mac, it's a little bit silly in the eyes that we do get to see the Orisa. Orisa is fine, but we get to see a Torbjorn of all things, and then a Life Weaver behind. Slyfox actually rocking that one out. I'm very interested to see how well this is going to play out. I haven't seen Life Weaver actually played in competitive, so for Slyfox, it's all about getting to that point very quickly. Already, we do see the setup extremely fast, but Gibson opened up with the first kill, and I love this outside-to-inside action here. It's a battle from the rip with Gibson saying, okay, here's the deal. We'll take the inside. We're going to push you out. We're going to deny you any further entry and turn the point ASAP. With just 3 people, they immediately get first point. They're going to hang on to this speedy stop, and it feels like point 1 might be all there. The kills continue to flood on in as Maconaquah try to break on through here, but it's really not working. It's getting stopped in the doorways. The Orisa trying to push their way in as Dragon tries to make a little bit of space. They are going to look to bring the pain, but they really don't find anyone. Bedhead on the back end instead is actually losing out on their life. They walk backwards. They are going to felt Axe, but are they going to find a little bit more? Crusty stepping in with some of the bolts in action here, saying, yes, please give me the action. I don't need the turret or anything of the sort. I will go ahead and lay them to waste, and they do. Very comfortable job as Bedhead picks up a double with Dragon, reaching around for the 3K. Gibson Southern sent packing as they got to go ahead and regroup. Very nicely done here. So first, or actually that was about the second engagement, I would say. Maconaquah making sure to hold on as best they can, but the re-engagement feels like it is falling in Gibson Southern's hands. They go ahead and find an opener. Are they going to find a little bit more is the big question. Can only assume so. Eyes out here. A little bit of a problem as they go ahead and punch their way through, but that is going to be Neil with that extra shield for the beat drop, carrying themselves onward, plus the gate behind. Expenditure of the overclock. It's destruction all about, and it's her back though, as right now Macon's going to try and do the exact same with their own overclock, but I don't know if it's really going to work. They are going to find one as Reeve goes down. Reba falling very, very quickly, but Cam still holding on to the front end. You go ahead and melt away the opposition, as it is going to be turn number 2 and multiple ults expended here, as it will be Gibson Southern making sure to hang on to that point. They do turn to giving over 63%. This is very nicely done here to open things up and to start things off. Love what we're seeing. We get a little bit more punch behind as well. That first turn, there are almost no ultimates on the side of Gibson Southern, which means on the flip, it's going to be an opportunity. Krusty has theirs ready to go, but Neil still opens up as Krusty's turret goes down. Bedhead finds Reeve yet again. Rev is just not having a good time. Neil's about to fall. You're still okay, you're staying alive, but there's the molds on the ground, that lava burning away at people's HP. So Dragon is able to walk their way on point, reaching about 77% here for Gibson Southern, but it is going to twist around as Bedhead finds Neil yet again. And Macon is now stabilized. You're looking at a very tight race for round number 1. It's undoubtedly a very strong point in its own. Gibson Southern have a beat drop available here in about 2 seconds. There it is. They're going to use it immediately though, just to try and burst on the site. They're going to try and take over, but Bedhead reaps out Reaper. Red goes down, meaning they lose out on DPS, but Axie is able to get to the back line. Bedhead is actually knocked off the point. Punch in the head, and that beat jump is all they needed. Gibson Southern running on through. Krusty's the only one alive, so it's a near team kill. It is Gibson Southern to turn the point yet again. One more time, you're at 99%. We had reached the OT point. Gibson Southern need to be able to rebuke the attempt here. Will they find it? Bedhead though coming around the corner, finds the angle. Are they going to find any kills so far? There is none. Like we've been trying to bring a little bit of a tree out here at the moment, but it still gives us Southern that wipe through Macon, and Macon is gone, which means it's Gibson Southern at 100-99 to take point 1.
Wow, what a start here. Hi, Orbital, I'm back, and now it's time to actually talk about the game here. How was match number 1? Obviously seeing a pretty stacked, close game for our first point on Lijiang Tower, but what am I going to be looking forward to in this second one?
You can be looking forward to Gibson Southern really throwing down with the best of them. Now, on the other side, and I keep saying this wrong, Maconaquah, which someone's going to yell at me, they're resilient, to say the least, but Gibson Southern, knowing how to fight as a group together, has so far any team fight that they've run into, whether on defense or on offense, has been extremely stable. Namely, in my eyes, Neil has been really, really good so far on that Sojourn. Axie on the Lucio has kept HP up. Reb themselves on the Reaper didn't really have much, so now that's the change that they're making.
Yeah, I mean, so far I'm looking at these two team comps, and you're seeing that one team is very much into the meta. I'm seeing Luke Kiri right here, but obviously, is it going to be enough? Clearly, it's going to be all about building up these ultimates, trying to push out. Obviously, when we do talk about Lijiang Tower Garden, it's a map that a lot of brawling happens. So I'm really happy that we're going to be seeing this Bastion and Ramatra. And speaking of Ramatra, starts us off with the first blood on the Kiri here. Very clean. Might be able to find another pickup as well. Oh my goodness. Rebuke getting a beautiful double down. And this could be a whole team wipe here.
I mean, that what did I say? What did I say, Edgy? As soon as we were talking about it, Gibson Southern know how to team fight. Now, of course, they did this in round 1 as well, which leads me to believe that we are going to see Maconaquah on the other side. This Varsity squad, they know how to fight back as well. They've actually swapped out. For me, it really is that Life Weaver, but Dragon as well on this Rissa has been so good at finding the picks. Can they find a bit more?
Yeah, let's hope that they can get a few more of this. Obviously, we're seeing the Lucio trying to go for these boops, but it's the Bastions that are doing so much damage. Unfortunately, it's a Bastion diff there to start us off. It might be Mac getting on here with this Orisa. Now, not any bit of a push-off, actually springing the Ramatra off of the map. It looks like one player is going to jump off of, just to make sure that they do get a nice reset here. We don't want to stagger. We can get a time to revive, get back in here, but at the end of the day, that Orisa does have ultimate, and that could be a single play team wipe. And already you're seeing a lot of ultimates being built up here by this now defending side, as Mac is looking pretty clean.
I think that's going to be the big call down, is how cleanly can you do this, Mac? They're going to do their best. In comes the artillery strike from the top side. Is he really going to find anything, though? Again, Axie is ready with that beat drop. It's been used on multiple occasions to defer and keep everyone alive, which now allows Gibson Southern to fight on back. They're breaking out all the ultis. Cam goes straight into the back line, punches the way out. Krusty falls off. Krusty fell off, which means double your DPS are gone. Out goes Maconaquah, and unfortunately lose the point yet again.
Yeah, losing the point there. A little bit disappointing to see all of those ultimates try to synergize at the start with the Bastion comboing in with the Orisa, but one Lucio beat completely shattered that reality, and now you're getting into this next swing of things, and you have a Kiri Bastion ultimate, which could really slow things down. An attempt to the bunny hop or the boop. We're not going to get the boop, though, and honestly, looking at this, everyone's kind of staggered right now, and here's the ultimate from the Bastion, trying to scare them off. The Kiri ult comes out as well. Let's see if this Kitsune guide can actually get them on the point, but the problem I'm looking at is everyone's so low, and you're seeing even more boops flying off the map, off the sidelines, off of this round, and it's just going to be up to Lucio to keep on this bullying of the boop-tastic amount of kills he's getting here.
Honestly, I mentioned it before, but Axie and Cam are the two that I love watching on this team. And shout out to Rev. On the Reaper, got dropped on multiple occasions for Gibson Southern. This time around, looking a lot better here. But again, Axie and Cam are keeping the team alive and really going for the DPS route as they're sitting
way across the spawn room, but there's still one player on the point. They finally go down, and a 2-0 finish on Lijiang Tower.
The greatest hold by Cam, the greatest save by Axie, and the fastest I've ever seen an OT timer go from 100 to 0. That is all that occurred there in round number 2, and big shout out to the entirety of Gibson Southern, and Neil, of course, on the Sojourn in round 1, popping off in so many different ways, washing through Maconaquah. But overall, Gibson Southern, I was a little bit shaky about their round 1. Round number 2, they exploded into the series, power beyond power, in the team fights, in the saves, in the individual like 2v1s and 1v2s.
Yeah, honestly, what I was looking at there is definitely a lot of space being created by the support on the Lucio. I mean, Axie, very solid. We saw the main reason that they actually won their second to last team fight there was because Axie got double boops damage. I mean, huge here. But as we get into our next map, are we going to be seeing the same potential for people flying off the side of it? No, it's Junkertown. Very more linear in the way that it plays out. Very open as well. So if you saw the Sojourn last game getting that hit scan DPS coming out, I'm thinking that the hit scans are going to be really what matters. The poke comps are really big here. The wide open area of our first point makes this very difficult if you are not able to find that coverage. So we might be seeing some shield tanks, or we could be seeing the void of that and going full dive here. I've seen D.Va be very meta here. I've seen Winston be very powerful. And our last tanks that we did witness, Ramattra and Orisa, I just don't think are going to find the same value out of this first map point.
That's what's a little bit terrifying, but at the same time, I could see I could see some spice coming in. Namely, for Sly, one of the interesting things is they've been stuck on the Lifeweaver the entire time. I know we're talking about the tanks, I know we're talking about all this, but the Lifeweaver itself hasn't really provided any utility in there, and I wonder if we are going to see the swap off so far for Maconaquah. They do need to bring some changes, I think, in the utility and in the safety patterns. We saw them fall a few too many times, a lot faster than I would have really liked, so I want to see if they're going to mix it up on that end as well. By the way, before we get too deep into this game number 2, I do want to give a big shout out to one of our sponsors here. We have multiple here today, but first up is Zotac. We want to give a big shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to all of you viewing at home, helping to showcase the amazing talent in Scholastic Esports. Because of that, we want to make sure that if you see an awesome moment, please go ahead and share it on social media by using the hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA when you post. You can also go ahead and join their community on Discord. With that being said, let's hop into game 2.
Yeah, game 2, looking at this team comp, we're seeing a very similar one from Gibson Southern. Arguably, this could be the best meta that they can pull together, especially with the Bastion and the Soj. The only thing, though, if this team were to meet a single Zarya, it would shred them. But counterpicking may not be what we want to be seeing here in the Scholastic level. Maybe it's all about getting comfort picks out and seeing what they can do. And I'm looking at a Torbjorn. That's a very interesting comfort pick.
It is actually was run on round number 1 as well, but considering the movement, I gotta agree with you. On a convoy like this, on a payload, it's so interesting to watch for. But the damage can come through. However, Neil says, well, you only get to play about 77% strength because the turret's already gone. Very quick elimination of the turret twice this time around, but Bedhead finds Rev so quickly. That's bound to leave a mark on Gibson Southern's defense.
Yeah, but we already see the counter push. Now taking out the Reaper, they're not going to have as much aggression against this Ramattra, and he's managed to take out turrets and fully hold this down. But with the Furies healing everything up and all of this DPS from the high line, the problem that I'm looking at is the back line completely open here. If we can just allow that Soldier to keep getting these picks, but the power of Orisa is you get to just keep spear spinning away through, but a little bit too aggro here from Krusty Man, and that is going to be another player to fall.
By the way, Cam has been on a warpath. If you look at just the players, you would not assume that this is a tank player, but it has been doing so much work here. With the double healing coming out of Kizzy and Axie, it's not only put Cam on the front lines, but even if Neil or Rev go down, Cam is still there to set up. I love what Gibson Southern has done so far. They've already burned about a minute and a half off the clock.
Yeah, a minute and a half on the clock, but enough time to start building up some ultimates here. We do have Dragon wanting to try to lock this in, but unfortunately, there's now no life grip here, so Dragon's going to have to get some care and get back onto that point. He's looking for a really large ultimate, and you can kind of see that call being given by Gibson Southern. They're kind of spread out a little bit, but the more they group around this corner, that could be the opportunity to try to jump on in, and the Curie ult is online to try to do some damage on the Soldier, and Overclock is on the board, but are we going to find it? One headshot down, a huge chunk of change out of there, and there we go. Even more ultimates are going to be exchanged. Somehow Dragon has yet to use his, but everyone on his team has kind of been burning through there. We do not have the tree, we do not have Krusties, and that is going to be a pretty solid pushback here from our team.
Oh, but there it is. Dragon expense at the very last moment, allowing space for Krusty to actually get a fight. They find Red before the artillery can come out, and maybe that's what they wanted. They wanted that choke point, and Dragon sets them all up. Krusty was able to mount them all, and with a minute 44 left, Maconaquah take the first checkpoint.
Huge. Absolutely clean with that. Now, with first checkpoint, 4 minutes on the clock. That's a very
Come on in, launch your hit if you want to take this.
Has been a very, very good take. Edgy, are you there? I'm going to make one more call to the Void. I am hoping for the Void. We shall see. Current moment, though. It is a piece and a half. Life has been gripped as Gibson Southern. They're going to try and hold it down once again. Try and burn through another 3.5 minutes. Wondering exactly how it's played out. A couple more shots coming through as Rev is dancing on forward, trying to get some damage of their own, but Cam backs it up with a great melting pot. Melt them away, take their life. Kizia even gets in on the extra. So we'll go ahead and be a punch over top as Maconaquah are forced away. All right, another little matching around as Maconaquah are trying to hold it down, but Neil is still finding Krusty all the time. Gibson Southern looking like a piece and a half. Camo, though. Camo has been doing some work again and again. We talk about one tricks in there in the tank role, but has been so good on this Ramatra. No problems whatsoever. Melting through HP bars. And yet again, it's so good. That's going to be an ult drop, though, as Krusty finds Rev, push up a little bit too far here on the payload. Are you going to be able to get a little bit more? As a good punch out by Dragon. Sets up for the rest of the team. Rev is down, but so is Krusty. Maconaquah holding their own, but that's a nice little sweep in. Dragon trying to catch everyone in the do. Kizia is going to be melting away on that armor shred. Gibson waiting for Axie to actually use that beat drop, but it's so late. Dragon cleaning up Axie as well, and that will allow Maconaquah yet again to find the punches. Dragon finally getting revenge on Camo. Gibson Southern giving up checkpoint 2. Very difficult time here. But again, Gibson Southern have one more shot. So far, they've been kind of pushed back on. Their aggression has yielded results. Layering in front, though. It's going to be interesting. Red pushed away a little bit. They're going for a long-range poke scenario. This man losing his turret early, but it doesn't really matter. Take a look at that timer. 3 minutes to get around this bend, and here on map 2, the whole question. Kizia keeping everyone healed up. High ground teleport, though. They're going to find some extra bedhead, trying to find some marks, but not finding it perfectly. Gonna look on high, but Neil again, make sure that turret doesn't bring more. This is the build-up, though. No major ults, but it is gonna be that corner pocket camp. Ready to go with the ult if necessary. Up goes Lifeweaver, though, saying, I got the platform to play for. Camo and Rev, though, find a mark or two. Both DPS are gone. Played a little bit too close to the sun. That'll be Gibson Southern. Able to push away Maconaquah in a solid fashion. Very, very well done. What feels like the first stop in the last 2 minutes. It really came down. I feel to Gibson Southern, they said, hey, here's the deal. My problem is you guys are pushing and you are gathering up. Namely, they have to watch out for Dragon. Dragon has had good Terra surges every single time. They got to be really, really aware of it. So Gibson Southern also got to recognize this is an ult challenge. This is 4 ults up versus 2, and that can be the danger. But Maconaquah almost losing bedhead there with a great delay from the side of Cam. Cam is melting through some of the HPs and finds bedhead around. Dragon still waiting for that Terra Surge, but I don't think it's going to come out until a major push. There it is, Dragon! What a swing yet again! The Terra Surges are terrifying, as that's a 4-1 left. Gibson Southern lose the entirety of their back line, and poor Cam is the last one alive. A minute and a half left as Maconaquah are pushing for their life. They're able to bounce back, though. Out comes that overclock with that beat drop. This is what you want to see. Slyfox dropping that tree. But does Lifeweaver have enough healing? I do not think so, as Reb pushes them off. It is an ult expenditure versus ult expenditure, and it is a problem. Disaster striking on the back end as Maconaquah lose a majority share of their members, and it will be a team kill at the end of the day. Nice job by Gibson Southern. With that being said, though, the last 40 seconds are going to be important. Guess what? Kizia will have the gate rush, but Dragon will have the Terra Surge. Guess what? That's been how Maconaquah have won literally all of their battles so far. Get that Terra Surge, find the back line, force Gibson Southern into death. It has been their bread and butter. Out come the gates, rush on forward, try and punch in. Find the turret, great catch. Are you gonna find more? Krusty goes down immediately, and they find Dragon. That's the pitch you needed. That locks out the ult potential, and that's gonna be it. Gibson Southern at the very end, before checkpoint 3, deny and defend against Maconaquah's advance. Well done to Gibson Southern as they hold on to round 1, their defensive end of map 2.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
Man, Ed, you would have loved this. Oh my gosh, was that defense paramount and pinnacle? They needed to find Dragon early, because if Dragon was allowed to fight for just a wee bit longer, that would have been disaster. Maconaquah would have been able to bounce back. That is the most hero snuffing I've ever seen from Gibson Southern, and I appreciate it. Very, very well done. Taking a look here on the attacking side, though, Gibson Southern, they have a chance to push on through. We know how strong their attack has been pretty much every single battle. Camo has been unchecked, Axie has been on point. Reb is a little bit surprising, though. Swapped over to the Reaper again. And we have to remember the Reaper hasn't really seen benefits. Actually looked a little bit weak in a lot of these battles. So to me, that's a giant question mark on the back of my mind. Is Reb actually going to follow through? I'd actually prefer to see the Bastion personally.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
We'll see how it plays out here.
Stop the pain.
Opening salvo. Neil always looking for that turret. We have barely seen that Torbjorn in action on that turret, but it's been rough. Nice little call from the skies, making sure Camo annoys the heck out of Bedhead. Early push, leading to just ult charges. Zaxi trying to get into the back line, immediately finds that turret yet again, denying continuously. Feels like they are melting away, and Camo really getting a lot of these good linchpin moments, forcing away a lot of opponents. And now you get to chase the Life Weaver. Axie on the support versus support action here, forcing everyone to get, and then they melt them some more. Take a look at the HP bars. Bedhead is gone as Axie finds them. What a beauty of a force out. Gibson Southern saying not a chance in the world. It is destruction beyond compare. Maconaquah falling like flies as Gibson Southern pull the leaves off that flower. In a much faster fashion, no slowing down. That was Gibson Southern to take checkpoint 1. Very, very comfortable job. Can only imagine it's going to continue here, so let's take a look here. It's going to be a little bit of a cheat. Wondering exactly how this is going to work, though. High ground currently being taken. Reb, by the way, huge job on their point. Reb has done very, very well. Another corner pocket, though, as the Ramattra is trying to kind of lead away and kind of eat away at their HP bars. Rest in the front line, holding steady. Are they going to do a little bit more? Barely touched on the shields. You can see the back line being touched, and Shaden is getting run down. What the heck happened? Gibson Southern, we're looking for a little bit of silliness, able to find a couple marks here and there. Punch around, though, as this is Dragon still trying to lay down damage, but the push is still ongoing. Maconaquah haven't been able to stop this. There's going to be the beat drop in the backside, keeping everyone healthy yet again, but that also means that they're going to push out. The Axie goes down, Krusty with a great burn. Welcome to the lava pits as Krusty denies, and Dragon with the Terror Surge on the back end just for the cream of the crop. Team White against Gibson Southern. Oh, what a well-timed moment as well. You saw Gibson Southern, they popped the beat drop, actually popped the beat drop and said, okay, we need to keep everyone safe, and you did. Then you need to follow up with a little bit more, and they said, okay, we're going to rush, and they lost out. Cam, though, saying turn number 2 is ours, and that's a wash through 2. Down go your supports, down goes Bedhead, down goes Dragon. Gibson Southern answer back with a tinkle of their own and say thank you very much. My gosh, we knew the response was going to be heavy-handed, and I was getting to the point that Maconaquah had to expend quite a bit. But is it really enough? This is the Orisa trying to keep everyone on the point, but it ain't going to happen. All 3 annihilated on an attempt at a checkpoint 2 defense. And now we go to the final moment. Scariness abound here as Gibson Southern, they're looking strong. 4 minutes on the clock. They do need to try and stay alive against a lot of this onslaught. 2 picks immediately going through. The turret plus Jaden, and with Jaden going down, that's going to be a problem here. No ultimates online, and that's actually the disastrous part, meaning this is going to be free roam for Gibson Southern. They recognize that there are no ults, they can play off of it. Shielding ain't going to do a dang thing. Bedhead is gone yet again. Dragon trying to bump up 80%. Might be able to get it by the time they get to the second one, but it ain't going to happen. Campbell was ready, and that might be the pick of dreams. Down goes Dragon. It is going to be the Reaper's blossoming flower, as that is GG. Gibson Southern take map 2. Well done overall, Gibson Southern bouncing back, but I shouldn't even say bouncing back, almost continuously having the strength to fight. Their offensive has always looked so dang good, and we saw it on point today. Shout out though to Krusty. Ed, you had some concerns. I also did. I don't like the Torbjorn personally, but Krusty had an immaculate play. In multiple scenarios there, really making sure when to throw down that molten lava, really understanding when to throw down with a lot of that aggressive area of effect, and it caught the rest of Gibson Southern off guard. I have to give credit where credit is due, but Gibson Southern, when it comes to a non-ultimate versus non-ultimate confrontation, or even ultimate to ultimate, they always have a favorable position to win, and it's coming off the back of Axie and Camo. These two have been riding so dang high as a battery, as a comfortable duo, that they will never falter unless it is a team wipe. If we see Camo go down, if we see Axie go down, it's more than likely there was an extended ultimate exchange, which has been overall fairly powerful as well. Not to say Neil and Rev and Kizia are not doing the same thing. Give credit where credit is due. Neil has been so impactful on that Sojourn. Rev has been doing work as a secondary DPS, drawing fire, and Kitsia with those rushes has been on point. But it really feels like Axie and Camo are the de facto opinion on whether or not we see Gibson Southern take victory. At the current moment, though, I do want to give a big shout out to yet another one of our amazing sponsors here today, which is LANFest. LANFest has been so awesome in making sure that we get a healthy and inclusive community around the way. Shout out to them for always trying to build healthy communities through gaming. They currently have 23 chapters across 18 states and over 150 events a year that you can join on in and show up and gain a sense of community in there as well. Go ahead and check them out at landfest.com if you want to learn a little bit more. As we go ahead, head on in though, we are going to Flashpoint, the last of the maps, and we're going to New Chunk City. Unlike Saravasa, a little bit more open territory, of course, but a little bit more dangerous in the same respect, because when it comes to Saravasa, it's very open-ended ceiling. A lot of the routes have a lot more freedom, and even the points themselves tend to have very high vaulted ceilings. But when it comes to New Chunk City, a lot of the spaces and a lot of the flashpoints tend to be a lot more condensed. When you're trying to get in the mix, it feels very condensed, very cramped in there. So this is one of those points that I'm actually really looking forward to Krusty and Slyfox. Krusty, with that Torbjorn, has the option to set up, get prepped on one of these points, and hold it down. If you can, that's great. But Slyfox getting a lot of the AoE healing with that Life Weaver, which we've seen kind of be good. I'll be very interested to see if it can hold out here. Go ahead and dive on in though. Opening salvos lining up. Neil is actually getting taken out a little bit harsher than I expected here. A lot more damage. I think anyone was hoping for a point touch coming out very, very quickly, but Camo finds shading yet again, and Neil opens up on Sly. Great utility supports being found out here, and that means the rest of the team is going to be denied. Gibson Southern, as I mentioned, inside of this kind of constrained flashpoint, immediately eating up point one. That was as smooth as it can be. Gibson Southern take point one. Maconaquah gonna have maybe one more chance here. And I mean, that's the crazy thing. When you talk about control and flashpoint, I always talk about the differences between the two. Big point about this one, when it comes to flashpoint, you only get one attack. Normally on control, you get two or three before you get the turn. We have seen Maconaquah before be able to break through the fights, but again, it leans on Dragon being this main frontrunner, being this kind of strength in the backfield. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but right now they got to find that fight. They're going to go ahead and try and break on the site, but I don't think it's going to work as Camo once again takes out the turret very, very quickly, healing up on the back end as Gibson Southern round the outside edges. And they're going to continue to chase Maconaquah around the Rosie. We're going hopping in here, trying to melt everyone. Krusty has the ult, but I don't think it's going to work as Red finds Krusty with that mark. Very comfortable pacing. Ultimate exchange as the Life Weaver tree comes out, same with the Terra Surge, but the gate plus beat drop was enough to overcome the DPS drop from Maconaquah. And Flashpoint 1 goes the way of Gibson Southern.
Point needs capturing. Move it.
Very nasty work right there. Coming out. And Maconaquah, like, huge shout out. They had to do something. Something was not enough. Now we get a swap as well. Dragon has been so good, by the way, with this tank, with this rise on top of the Orisa, but now swapping over to the Zarya, which is so interesting. Zarya, of course, rising up in priority, rising up in the ranks. I really, really do appreciate it. With the swap, understanding that maybe we got to get with the rest of the team. Gonna try. In comes a salvo coming out. What a shot by Bedhead. Sebastian finds a mark. Down goes Revan. This might be the opportunity, but answered back by Cam. Out comes the mobile turret, though, as Bedhead is trying to get some DPS. But you're not going to find it as Camo is melting through the HP bars. Neil doubles up behind. But Jaden is able to make it messy. Are you going to find a few more? No, you're not. Maconaquah lost way too many members, but the fight for point 2 has been yielding. Clean up on the back end. And it did take a while, but Gibson Southern, they go ahead and take the point. Another expenditure, though. And there's a swap. I don't know what the thought process was. Dragon Chris right back on that Orisa, which I think yields so many more results. Actually finding a random kill onto Bedhead, though. Very, very clean mark right there. A little bit surprising overall, but it's a mark for mark's sake. Wonder if you're going to find a little bit more here. Gibson Southern, though. Go ahead and see if they can fight it out. Another melt keeps away a lot of those utility, though. And it gives time. Maconaquah need to get on in and heal their DPS, but is it going to be enough? There's going to be the Reaper calling out on the Blossom on the back end, though. Easy catch and annihilation. Dragon went down, and so did the DPS. Maconaquah sectioned off and deleted. Gibson Southern making this entire series look as smooth as butter, as they will take Flashpoint 2 and only need one more to take the series. With 30 seconds left, Maconaquah, they're doing their best. Maconaquah, Varsity, understand they're stepping to a very strong opponent in Gibson Southern. But they have to fight. They have a Life Weaver ultimate. They have the tree and the gates. Is it going to be enough to face off against the beat drop, against the overclock? Will it be enough? Neil on the flank, looking to get some marks, get some extra damage. Not much, though. Slow push forward. Dragon trying to build up that ult economy. Might be enough. A nice snipe straight through the body. Neil doing the damage. And there's a mark again. Jaden goes down. Unfortunately, that means the tree is a little bit off-centered. Instead, they expend one, don't get the gates. It gives the Southern to hold on in such a smooth fashion. Dragon, though, has the Terra Surge. Is it going to be utilized here? Krusty immediately expends, though, on the ultimate themselves. Out comes the Molten Lava, but they know better this time. Gibson Southern reads it like a book, and they push on through with the gates, with the beat drop, with everything in the tank. They fight back against Maconaquah. They say your lava means nothing. We live on. Dragon, though, fighting right back, said I might not have an ulti, but I have your overextension. And it's for the first time in this series. Maconaquah take a flashpoint. Felt like ages, but they were able to find it. Are they going to get more? Gibson Southern rushing back to the point, though. They have 82. They want nothing else. Camo dropping that Ramattra ult, saying, let's burn, burn, burn. You ain't going to be able to heal through much. You're going to give over this point. Another melt on the back end. The Dragon was ready on the flank. Really nice timing. They take away the tank. And that leaves Gibson Southern a little bit at a worse for wear. This team will fall without their tank. Gibson Southern getting denied. Well played by Maconaquah yet again. And in these moments, you see that spark. You see that opportunity coming out from the squad. With that battle, Maconaquah should, and I say should, secure point 3 here. It might be a fight for point 4 instead. Not sure about this battle, though. Yeah, Gibson Southern. I don't know if you want to give more ult charge timer over. There's the rush. Flashpoint 4.
We need to attack the objective.
It's being looked at. Dragon has a Terror Surge. Krusty has the lava ready to go. The Forge might be calling here because Gibson Southern, they only have the Reaper Blossom available. Not much else to play for, which worries me a little bit. See, it works out. Okay, there's the overclock. We're looking for that one. Where do they get some melt, though? And that is going to be Krusty. In the corner pocket, though, I'm not sure about this one, but they make it work. Terror Surge behind. Neil and Rev are down in a flash. Maconaquah find the perfect opportunity. Really, really well done there. It's in Southern, though. They got time. They didn't really expend anything. Just need to try and keep Neil alive right now. I think that's what they're kind of waiting for. Let Neil try and get a little extra. There's the turret going down, and now they go ahead and break it around the sides. It's two-side flank. Gonna push straight on in as Rev gets a beautiful ultimate. Pushes out the rest of the team, makes sure that they land right in front of the other DPS. And it's a win and a half right there. Beautiful point turn by Gibson Southern. That being said, now we take a look on the other side. Both teams have fought very, very neatly. Maconaquah, they have 2 ultimates. It's almost like we turned back the clock. Tree plus gates equals a lot of healing and a lot of extra damage. Let's see if they can do it. Kizia only has their own gate rush. Camo, 75 off. Neil taking out the turret yet again. It's all about getting this Orisa in position, though. They're going to be able to find it. It's a left side corridor flank. Straight into the backline. Axie goes. Neil finds Sly early. It's a great pick, number 1, but the gates come out here as Dragon finds a punch opportunity. Down goes Camo, and Dragon is just 95% off, but Axie was ready. Axie is going on a tear. Axie, a healer turned DPS, punches away Maconaquah, and Gibson Southern. Team kill. Gibson Southern take this series in a 3-0 sweep. Axie, I feel like I know what this play was. This absolute havoc wrecker in the back line. No one watched. No one listened to the DJ till the music stopped. And that was the game end. Maconaquah, they put up a battle, but they did not win the war, and Gibson Southern ran it home. Well done. If anyone at home is watching, if you are tuning in to Division AA, you need to watch Gibson Southern. A well-fought battle, as we say, Rest in pieces, Edu, as they will be back in the future to more Esports Indiana matches. As today's matchup here for Overwatch 2 was a banger. We hope all of you enjoyed tuning in. Congratulations to Gibson Southern for starting off their season 2-0, a very well fought and well battled and well hardened event. That being said, though, I want to give a big shout out to our final sponsor here on the day, LOS Portal, or League OS Portal. If you are wanting to get into esports in college, there is a way now to go ahead and search through hundreds of collegiate esports programs and see where they are, what games they play, and what majors they offer. Go ahead and join it at portal.leagueos.gg and search, and go ahead and find where other IEN students are finding their homes and finding their opportunities to manage their own prospect profiles, as well as all their stats during the IEN tournaments and other such events. Verified college esports coaches are searching through LOS Portal right now for promising students for the future seasons, so make sure to go ahead and get signed up because it's free for all LOS Portal, anyone interested, and that is currently a student as well. Go ahead and once again visit portal.leagueos.gg and get started here today with your own account. That being said, though, we want to give a big thank you to all of you who would tune in, to all of our production staff on the back end as well, who made this show possible. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Indiana Esports Network, and we'll see you all next time.